Hey everyone, thank you for joining me for another episode of Heal, Learn and Grow for Purposeful Living, your favorite faith and wellness podcast. I am Morale, and it's always amazing to get back on the couch and have good conversation with each and every one of you. If you are new, welcome, and if you're already part of the HLG tribe, you know what it is. Welcome back to you too. So today I want to talk about, or have a conversation rather, about letting go. I know we've heard this, we hear this all the time. You need to let go. You know, when it comes towards the end of the year, you see that famous post of the lady pulling all the things she's pulling into the new year and all the stuff she's letting go of. And it's a nice aesthetic, but I think it's pointless if we don't actually apply it to our lives. And, you know, we make all these goals and New Year's resolutions of I'm leaving this behind and I'm going into the new year. And those are all good. But if we're not going to actually do the work and be intentional about letting things go, then it's pointless. And I feel like for me specifically, this is a season of release where I've let go of a lot of things. And I'm also in the process of letting go a lot of things. And I just want to go through a few things with you that I'm on a journey of letting go of. Things that I've already let go of for quite some time. And yeah, just stuff that is so last year. It's like so old, and it's like, guys, why are we still holding on to these things that are just weighing us down and tying us down? Because we cannot move forward in life if we are still holding on to baggage and holding on to the things that are weighing us down. Our baggage doesn't serve us. It weighs us down. That's what it does. It doesn't help you. It doesn't make you feel good. It doesn't propel you forward in life. It just weighs you down, and it takes you longer to get to where you need to go to because you're pulling all this baggage, emotional baggage, mental baggage, physical baggage around with you everywhere you go. My husband, Prince, we always have like a disagreement because he likes keeping stuff. He likes hoarding stuff. And I am the type of person that I will get rid of stuff. I do not like keeping things, from dishes to clothes to shoes to books to any and everything. If I feel like it's been sitting and it's not serving me and I've got no use for it, I will let go. Now, Prince, on the other hand, is not like that. Prince can hold on to things for years and years, and I'll say to him, just let go of the things. Why are you're not wearing it, you're not keeping it, you're not using it, why are you just let it go. And we often have like arguments about this because he wants to hold on to certain things. I think we've got things, or he specifically has got things from even way before we met that he refuses to let go of. So I guess we're different in that sense. But the point I'm trying to make is that it's time to let go of stuff. And I think I want to speak specifically to the emotional baggage that we carry around. Our hurts and pains and traumas, the voices living rent-free in our head, other people's opinions, our own fears, doubts, negative self-talk. These are the things that I personally am dealing with as it pertains to letting go of stuff. And some of them, like I say, I've dealt with that. I've won. I've conquered that journey. And some of them I'm working on. It's a daily battle. It's a daily struggle. And we're going to see how it's going. And I think for me, one of the first ones are letting go of the hurt, the pain, and the trauma. Now, I know this is a big one because everybody's pain, everybody's hurt, everybody's trauma is not the same. You know, we all go through things in our life, whether it be childhood trauma, relationship trauma, whether we've been violated and abused, you know, in childhood, in our teenage years, even as an adult, whether we've been mistreated or undermined, even church hurt, you know, is a thing. So we all experience pain and trauma and hurt on different levels. And, you know, the way I deal with hurt and the way I deal with pain and process pain is not the way the next person will deal with pain. But there comes a time that we've got to let go of it, because the longer that you hold on to it and the longer that you stay stuck in that mindset, in that season, in that bondage of the pain, of the trauma, of the hurt, the longer it takes for you to heal, the longer it takes for you to grow, the longer it takes for you to evolve to the next level of where you need to be, because you're staying stuck in a place that is just reminding you of everything that you've been through. And I know this from personal experience because I've carried so much, and I think I've mentioned this on a few episodes prior, where I've carried around so much childhood trauma because of the dysfunction I grew up in. I carried so much trauma from the things that happened to me, the pain that I went through, the violations that I experienced in my childhood. I carried that pain around a lot, and it made me act in certain ways, and it was a contributing factor to a lot of the decisions that I made that I could have avoided. But because I held on to that, because it felt comforting in the time, it felt safe in the time, and my feelings felt justified as to why I'm carrying around all of this. People that have hurt me, I need to hold on to this pain, and I need to hold on to this anger, and I need to hold on to this vengeance, because it's the only sense of power that I have. And if I show up in a room, and if I show up in spaces as somebody that is angry and bitter, then people will know that they shouldn't cross me, and then people would know that they shouldn't cross certain lines when it comes to me. And that's how I would go through the world. And I eventually realized that it wasn't serving me. It was doing actually more harm than good, because people were afraid of me. People were afraid to be around me. People were afraid to engage with me, because I always had this exterior of, don't mess with me. Don't come near me. I'm not the one. And that was my safe space, because of everything that I had been through in my childhood, in my teenage years, in relationships, and also with people like undermining me, because I've been through that as well, where people look at me and undermine me, and they just feel how they feel about me, and they feel it's okay to treat me a certain way. But I had to come to a point where I needed to release that. And that wasn't an easy choice, because it meant me being vulnerable, and it meant me letting go of what felt safe, which was the walls and the boundaries I put up to protect myself. And with a lot of work and daily intentions, it eventually happened. And every day I felt freer and freer. Every day I put down a layer of the baggage, a layer of the pain, a layer of the trauma. I'm not saying that you've got to take it all, pick it up one day, and it's a work in progress every day. And every day we are removing layers of things. Some days are more triggering than others when it comes to either certain people, when I hear their names, or certain memories or thoughts that would crop into my mind. And it can be triggering. And, and it's just me reminding myself that we've let that go. We are no longer in that place. We are no longer in that time zone. That time zone is long gone, and we are no longer, me specifically, no longer associating myself with that time period. What happened then wasn't nice. I didn't like it, but I've moved out of that time era. I've moved out of that time zone. I'm no longer in that season. So it's time for us, people, to let go. I know it hurts. I know it's painful. I know your anger and your frustration feels justified, because how could people do what they did to you, and it wasn't your fault, and there's all these reasons why you feel like it's okay to stay stuck in that place. But the reality of it is that you are harming yourself so much mentally, physically, spiritually, emotionally. You are harming yourself, and you're chipping away at pieces of yourself every single day that you hold on to that baggage of hurt and pain and trauma. And I would suggest that you truly find somebody that you can trust, that you can speak to. If you're able, like I was, to get into therapy, go to therapy, go and see a therapist, go and speak to somebody that is professional, that can help you, unpack all of the baggage that you are holding on to and that you are carrying, so that you can release yourself and be free. And I tell you, once I did that, I am in the freest, most liberating place in my life right now. I really am. And it's not perfect. Some days are difficult when certain thoughts come into my mind, but I make the choice to say that, you know what, I'm free. Let's stay free. Let's not go back. to what bound you. The other thing is the voices. You know those voices that live rent free in your head. Those voices that tell you it's not gonna work, and you know nobody sees you, and you're not valued, and you're not loved, and you're not good enough. So those voices that say, this is just how it's meant to be. My life is just supposed to be like this. Nothing works out for me. That's not the truth. And those, the reason I'm saying that, because that is my famous lines. Like, you know what? Everything bad just happens to me. Nothing works out for me. I always used to tell myself, sometimes I still do tell myself that, especially like when something would go wrong. And I'll be like, yeah, this is just my life. This is just how it's not the truth. That is not the truth. Your life is not supposed to be one bad thing after the next. Bad things are going to happen because life is life. But you are not supposed to be living a life where bad things are continuously happening to you over and over and over again, and you just become accepting of it because this is just the way that it's supposed to be. No, it's not the way that it's supposed to be. And those voices that are in your mind that tell you that it's just supposed to be like that, that's a lie. That's an absolute lie. And we need to let go of those voices. When bad things happen, you're supposed to put your foot down and say, absolutely not. This is not me. This is not my portion. I will not accept this. I will not accept this. Voices like, oh, my mother was like this, so that's why I'm like that. My mother was a shouter, and I felt like it was normal for my mother to just, for me to be a shouter and to be aggressive and hard all the time. And that was not my best moment of communication. And I think the people around me, especially my children, would say that because they never listened to me when I was aggressive. Actually, when I think back to it now, I never listened to my mother when she would shout and she would be aggressive and always just so angry and bitter about things. And the cycle continued with me, and I was like, oh, well, my mother's like that, so, I got it from my mama. I got it from my mama. No. Stop allowing those voices in your mind to tell you that my mother was like this, my father was like that, my grandfather was like this, so this is why. You can change. You can change the cycle. You can change the way things are done. You can start afresh. You can start new. And I had to make that decision to say, okay, this is where I draw the line. Not because my parents were like this, I have to be like this. I can change it. Not because I came from a dysfunctional home, I have to have a dysfunctional home. Not because my dad was addicted to substance that I have to be addicted to substance. No. I can change that. So there's things in our lives that we have the power and the authority to change just by making a decision to change them and moving in that direction of changing them. Just by telling yourself in your mind that I'm not going to listen to what those voices tell me. I'm going to listen and I'm going to do the complete opposite of those voices. My family was poor. My family lived in poverty. I'm going to be opposite. I'm going to be rich. I'm going to have financial stability. I'm going to be financially literate. I'm going to have a home. I'm going to have a family where my children feel safe and seen and heard and valued. Those are the voices that you need to be listening to. So the voices that are living rent-free in your head, you need to let go of them. Those voices that tell you that you are not good enough, it's a lie. You are good enough. You are good enough. If you weren't good enough, God would never have sent you here. God would never have put you on the earth if you weren't good enough. So the fact that you're here means you are good enough. So stop listening to the voices that are living rent-free in your head. And I think this is a big one. Other people's opinions. We've heard this over and over and over again. And this has been a struggle for me over and over and over again because I've always put other people's opinions and thoughts of me above what is true, above what God says about me, and about what I know about myself. I would always want to know how people think about me, what people feel about me, what people are saying about me, Am I good enough in certain circles and spaces that I show up in? I would always want to please everybody, be a people pleaser, because I always want to meet everybody's expectations. So other people's opinions, guys, is so old. It's so old. And the best thing I did for myself was to get to a stage in my life where, you know what, I don't care what other people think. I don't give a hoot what anybody has to say about me, how anybody feels about me. People that want to turn around and say, who does she think she is? She thinks she's better than everybody because she's educated, because she has a degree, because she's traveling, because she's been here, because she's got money, because she's got a husband, and they find a list of reasons why they feel that they think, or you think you're better than them because of all the things that you have that they don't have. That's their issues that they need to deal with. It's got nothing to do with me. It's got nothing to do with you. I'm going to live my life. And as long as I can sleep every night with my integrity intact and my conscience clean, I'm going to live my life. And it doesn't matter what anybody says. Yes, I have the authority. And yes, I have the nerve. And yes, I have the audacity to be the first in my family to break cycles. Yes, I have the audacity to break generational curses in my family. And nobody's going to tell me otherwise. Not a friend, not a family member, not anybody, not somebody in the comments. Nobody is going to tell me how they feel about me and what they think about me. That's going to steer me from doing what God has placed in my heart to do. If he says you're going to be the first in your family to be a multimillionaire, you're going to be a kingdom financier, you're going to be a generational curse breaker, you're going to be a business owner, you're going to travel the world. If God says that about me, then you best believe that I'm going to show up as those things. That I'm going to show, and I'm not going to be afraid. I'm not going to be afraid. I'm going to be the first in my family to break the cycles of dysfunction. I'm going to be the first in my family where my children will go to university and get degrees and have the things that I never had and my parents never had and generations before me never had. I'm going to have the audacity to believe and think that and move in that direction, because that's what I believe about myself and that's what I know God sees when he looks at me. So I don't care anymore about people's opinions, and we need to get to a place where people's opinions shouldn't matter to us. Whether they say you're too short, you're too fat, you're too this, you're too that, you're too tall. Because here's the thing, we modify ourselves and we change ourselves and we put ourselves in positions that are so uncomfortable for us to meet the expectations of other people. And when we do that, it's still not enough for them. And for me, I feel like when we do that, we give them the power to pull the strings concerning our lives. When we are too focused on the opinions of other people, then they can control our feelings and our emotions by the words of their mouths and their thoughts. So we need to break that thing and let it go in the season of release. Let go of people's opinions, thoughts about you. It's not your business. If that's how they feel, let them deal with it. You carry on your merry way. And the world will keep moving. We also need to let go of our own doubts, our own fears, and the negative talk that we speak over ourselves. Now, I know that which I've mentioned, fear has been a big thing in my life. I've always feared doing things. I've always feared getting out of my comfort zone. I've always feared, again, people and what people are going to say. Are they going to laugh? Are they going to approve? Are they going to, what are people? Because of fear. Fear of the unknown. Am I going to fail at this? Am I going to be a laughing stock in front of everybody? Fear of making mistakes. Fear of trying new things. We need to let go of that fear. And stop doubting ourselves. And stop negative self-talking over ourselves. I used to do this for so many years. Talk negative about me. I will never have, I will never excel, I will never achieve, it will never be me, I can't, I won't. These are the things I used to speak over myself. And you know what? For as long as I spoke like that over myself, that's the position I remained in. I couldn't, I won't, I will not, I'll never have, I won't achieve. I stayed in that place because that's what I told myself. Words have power. Words have power, and whether we say it jokingly or whether we say it out of anger and frustration or whether we say it because it's just, things that there's things that we say over ourselves, sometimes unknowingly, in a moment of anger or frustration. Oh, Mel, you're so stupid. You're not stupid. That word or that statement that you have spoken has power over you. So you begin to feel stupid and you begin to show up, or you begin to think that your work or what you have or your presentation or what you're bringing forth feels insignificant because you've told yourself that, oh, I'm stupid. So it's very important that we need to let go of the negative self-talk. Start looking for the positive things that you can speak over your life and start moving in that direction. Start showing up in the positive light that you speak over yourself. And again, not every day is going to be a perfect, happy, blissful, happy-go-lucky kind of day. We all have days where, things are going crazy. Things are haywire. Things are not making sense. The dots are not connecting. Everybody has those days. But I think we need to be mindful of how we speak and what we say over ourselves. And another thing is unforgiveness. Now, unforgiveness, I think I need to do a whole episode on unforgiveness because it's taken me years to deal with unforgiveness. Unforgiveness of the traumas that I've experienced, like I mentioned, unforgiveness of the things that people have done to me, the ways that I've been betrayed in life. And we've all gone through this because lives. We've all gone through this. We've all gone through things that we deem or we think are so unforgivable, But I think for me, how I deal with unforgiveness now is a daily choice. I've got to be very intentional every single day about forgiving people, forgiving things that have been done to me, things that have been said about me, forgiving things or people for the way they made me feel. I have to be intentional every day about choosing to forgive. And it's not easy. Every day is a struggle. Every day is an uphill battle. Some days better than others. But I think I've seen the power of choosing to forgive rather than the negative effects of holding on to unforgiveness. Unforgiveness it causes a lot of sickness. Physical sickness in your body that's been scientifically proven. Unforgiveness just makes you a miserable, bitter person. I've seen that in the people around me that are still holding on to unforgiveness, and I saw that in myself. I saw unforgiveness manifesting itself in my body, in mental illness, in depression, in anxiety. It's because I was holding on to the spirit of unforgiveness. So unforgiveness causes a lot of illnesses. And when I started seeing those things manifesting in my own body, I knew I had to make a choice to work on forgiveness. And life is so much better. Life is so much better. I feel so much freer. I feel so much lighter. And like I say, every day is different. Every day my feelings are different. My emotions are different. I can think about something or think about somebody, and I know that I haven't dealt with it and I haven't gotten through or haven't won the battle of forgiveness in that area because of how it makes me feel. When I think of a certain person or certain people and I still feel that anger and that rage creeping up on me, then I know, okay, this is still a work in progress for you. Because when you've truly forgiven somebody, when you hear their name, when you come around them, there shouldn't be any kind of feeling or emotion attached to that. You should be able to be free because you've let it go. And it's no longer your burden to carry. So I know for me, that's my big indicator that I've still got forgiveness to work on. When I think about certain things, or I hear a certain song, or I hear a certain word or a certain name, and I start feeling some type of way, then I know, okay, we still have work to do. We still have work to do. And I'm working on it. And I also, when I read the scripture in the Bible about forgiving 70, I think 77 times 7 or 70 times 7, and I always used to wonder about the scripture. How do you give? Who is wronging you so much in a day that you need to forgive so much in one day? But then I realized that includes every thought that you have. Every thought that you have, every time the thought comes up, every time the emotion is stirred, every time you get triggered, that's an opportunity for you to forgive. That's an opportunity for you to release forgiveness. That's how I am dealing with and working on my forgiveness journey. I don't say that I'm there yet. Like I say, there's things that I work on daily, because there's things that still upset me about specific events and people. But we're getting there. We're getting there. So I just felt like, you know what, let's have a conversation about letting go. What is it in your life that you need to let go of? What are the emotional, mental things that you need to let go of in your own life that are weighing you down? I said at the beginning of this episode that baggage, if it's not even if baggage doesn't serve you, all baggage does is weigh you down, and especially emotional baggage. It just weighs you down, and it's so hard for you to move forward in life because of this thing that you're carrying. This thing that you're carrying in your life that is so heavy. You're free, but you still have bars. I call it you're freely imprisoned, because you're free in terms of your movement. You can go anywhere and do whatever you want to, but in your mind, you are imprisoned. You're imprisoned in your heart. You're imprisoned in your mind because you haven't let go of the baggage that you're carrying. So you essentially, because as long as you are holding on to the baggage in your life, you are imprisoned. You are behind bars. You are behind bars. And until you start letting go of those things, that's the only time you will start seeing the release, and you will start living in the freedom that you have. It's time to let go of the old and stop letting the baggage have power over you. Because the longer you keep it, the longer it feels safe, the longer it feels like a daily part of your life, the more it has power over you. It has power over your thoughts. It has power over your actions. It has power over your emotions. It has power over the things you react to. It has power over your choices. That's what all that undealt with baggage does. So I think it's time to give yourself the freedom, or give yourself the gift rather of freedom, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, even physically, and walk in freedom, because you deserve it. Baggage is so last year. It's so old. Let's release. Let's get rid of the stuff that is not serving us anymore. And that's how I want to end today's episode. I hope it was thought-provoking for you, and I hope it's going to put you in a place where you're asking yourself, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of? Because it's taking me longer to reach where I need to go because of all of the stuff that I'm pulling along with me. So I hope you take time to either journal, write it down, put it on a piece of paper. Like I said, speak to somebody that you trust and know. Get in touch with a therapist if you are able to, or community therapist if there's that, wherever you are staying. But speak to somebody and start the journey of letting go of the stuff that you need to let go of. And today, I want to end today's episode off with what I know for sure. And what I know for sure is, and I'm going to use the analogy of a car. When you're driving a car, any vehicle for that matter, I think except for a motorbike, but any vehicle for that matter, you will notice that the windscreen is much bigger than the rearview mirror. And for me, what that says is the reason why the windscreen is bigger than a rearview mirror is because moving forward is more important than what's behind. You need to focus on what's ahead and not what is behind. And that's what I know for sure. That moving forward is more important than what you've left behind. When we look back, it's only got to be to see how far we've come, how much ground we've covered, but our focus should always be in front and what's ahead of us. And that's what I know for sure, and that's how I'm going to end today's episode. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, give it a like. I'd love to hear from you in the comments, so please drop me a comment. And I cannot wait to get back on the couch with you next week so that we can have more good conversation. I love you guys, but God loves you more. You know this.